Hello students, my name is Ran and today we are going to talk about internal labor markets. Internal labor markets are an administrative unit within a firm in which pricing and allocation of labor is governed by a set of administrative rules and procedures. Still confused? To simplify the term, ILMs deal with the effect of long-term employment relationships within organizations. ILMs have three characteristics: long-term relationship between workers and firms, job hierarchy, and internal wage structures. ILMs are found in places where both parties, employees and employers, anticipate that the relationship will last for a long period, if not for the worker's entire working life. Unlike in competitive markets where quitting a job does not impose cost on the firm, on ILMs it does. To illustrate this, let's take an example. If Uncle Abdul works as a dishwasher and at some point he decides to quit his job, the manager will firstly ask other employees if they have any relatives willing to work as a dishwasher, or simply put a hiring sign in front of the store. However, if Professor Besnik Bislimi decides to quit his job, then the process of replacing him will last much longer. At first, RIT Kosovo must place job ads on Chronicle of Higher Education saying that they are hiring economic professors, then create a committee to review applications and shortlist 3 or 4 candidates. After this, interview all of the candidates, and in the end, they have to choose the right one. So, whenever the process of recruiting is long and costly, the investment on workers' specific skills are high, then the relationship is more likely to be a long-term one. The second characteristic of ILMs is job hierarchy. The entry job levels in a company are connected to promotion opportunities in the future, sometimes called as a career ladder. Let's get back to our example of Professor Besnik Bislimi. At first, he started as an assistant professor, then he became associate professor, and in the end, he became a professor. In an ILM organization, the hiring of new employees is mostly done on the entry level, or commonly known as a port of entry. This port of entry is a main point of contact between ILM and ELM. The last characteristic of ILMs is the internal wage structure. Let's look at the graph, which some refer to as the wind-blown hair diagram. It allows us to see what happened over time to the wages of new hires each year, and what happened to the earnings of each cohort of workers over their lifetime. The first is that the wages progress steadily with the tenure, and wages of adjacent cohorts often move in parallel over time. Second feature is that from year to year, the average wage of a given cohort of workers is much less volatile than the average wage of new hires. Wages of workers at entry ports to the ILM are determined by external market forces, whereas those of workers elsewhere in the ILM are to some extent insulated from demand and supply of competitive labor markets. There are 3 types of ILMs: little influence, worker in a small enterprise; heavy ILMs influence, public sector where policies are prescribed by law, and large companies which have an extensive human resource department developed; and moderate influence ILMs, retail and service, banks, universities, and consultancies. The main factors which led to the increase of ILMs in the 20th century were size and complexity, turnover cost, union activity, wartime policy, and the New Deal. However, a number of changes in the world economy during the past few decades have led to some assumption that ILMs are not so relevant anymore. Business firms face increased competition, which has reduced the ability to afford career compensation system. Technological change, which may have reduced the importance of specific human capital and made the workers more interchangeable. Taken together, the image of more flexible businesses seems counter to the image of workers spending their careers moving up the career ladder in an ILM. Nonetheless, they still remain important to this day.